Working on the, we're doing the build on this 64 Bel Air wagon, and we did everything. It's already done at this point, but I'm going to go through different videos to show you everything that we did. It's a really cool setup. What we did is we pretty much hid all the batteries, we hid all the pumps, and made it to where everything, you know, was gone, out of sight. But if you want to see it, it looks really good. The finished product. But also things that we had to change along the way, such as you know, the front springs. We got 2-ton pre-cut springs, but after installing them and everything, we figured out that one, they bottomed out, they were too small, so we ended up changing them out to a 3.5 ton, and then we just trimmed them down just to make them right. Hops a lot better with that. You know, just many different things along the way that we had to change and manipulate and you know, get it to come
we got some fluid
right.
leaking out of the plug, but here's the setup right here. We're messing with it, hopping it, so it's got some overflow coming out of there. We haven't tightened it down yet on purpose to let any air come out. Anyway, so here's the pumps. It was a nightmare getting them in, nightmare getting them out, but basically down towards the bottom there's bulkhead bolts or fittings that basically connect all the hoses up underneath the setup there and underneath the car. So, and we've got certain ones still marked from where we put everything in. That's what the tape's for. So we had to run some hard lines to make it all fit in the way that it should and wouldn't move, and we had to use some regular hose as well because you know, it needed some flex in there no matter what we did. But as you can see, it's all in there. It's nice and clean. We've still got some cleaning to do, but that's how it went in there. So everything's in there, everything's working right, everything's doing good. So that's how the whole setup is in there.
Alright, so one of the dilemmas that we ran into is that this thing has a monster 3-wheel. It does a real good 3-wheel. But one of the dilemmas that we have is that the drive shaft hits on the inside of the tunnel that we've already cut out. We cut it out straight to the walls, and it's still hitting. So our solution to that problem is going to be to run a chain across the axle to the frame, so basically like an X. So when it's lifted on one side, it's going to pull that axle a little bit more centered, which also, this car is kind of set up to be a hopper also. So when we lift it all the way up, it's going to lock out the rear spring, so there's no reverse bounce trying to mess up our front hop. So you can see how awesome it does. So it stands just very easy. Now this is a 10 battery 3-pump setup. One pump going to the front, 2 to the back, 14-inch cylinders in the back, and I believe 6 or 8? 8 in the front. 8's in the front. So, all right. So here's the rear end and everything. Now, one of the issues that we believe could be the reason why the rear end is moving from left to right is that the wishbone mounts in the middle of the cross member up top, and 2 on the axle, which most of the wishbones I've seen connect 2 to the frame and 1 on the axle right in the center. So I'm leaning towards believing that there's too much leverage pulling it one way and the other, which could be one of the issues, but we were planning on chaining the rear end anyway, so that's what we're going to do to solve that problem. And there is the 3.5 ton springs put in there. Now we cut about 3 coils off of there to make it right where we wanted it to be on this car anyway. Alright, so another thing we did, his car has 2 dumps to the front, whereas a lot of your hoppers you'll see one main dump to the front, and which can make a hopper switch very easy to install. Well, this one has 2 dumps, so what we did was we put a kill switch on this switch box, and we also put another switch on the bottom to basically make it to where when we hook up our hopper switch, it will not only cut off this switch box, but it will also connect the 2 dumps in the front, so they will work as a unit and they'll work at the same time on a 3-prong switch. Now, if we're not hopping it, all we do is turn it off and everything works as it should. Right, so to put in a hopper switch, it's pretty self-explanatory. All it needs is 3 wires. You've got your power in the center of the switch, then you've got a power to your solenoid, which goes to your pump, and then you've also got one going to your dump, or in our case we've got one that goes to a switch that basically turns on both dumps so they're connected. Now, all we did was got a extension cord, this blue extension cord, and wired up this end to the pump, or to the power, pump, and dumps, and then this just connects straight into this plug right here, so we can connect the hopper switch there.